The term digital colony describes a situation with frightening accuracy. Without radical measures to reduce dependency on digital monopolies, the digital future of Germany and Europe is lost.
Hello and welcome to Open Matters, the podcast where open source matters and so do the big digital questions of our time. I'm Richard Brock and today I'm joined by Professor Dr. Harald Wehnes, Chair of Computer Sciences at the University of Würzburg and spokesman for the German Informatics Society's Executive Working Group on Digital Sovereignty. He's been working at the University of Würzburg for over 25 years, and today he's here to convince me, and maybe you, that digital sovereignty isn't just nice to have, but absolutely essential. Harald, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation.
Before we launch into this topic, I thought it would be helpful to define some terms. What do we mean when we are talking about digital sovereignty?
Well, digital sovereignty refers to a nation's ability, the ability of a company, of an individual, to independently control and govern its digital infrastructure and data without external interferences.
That's really helpful. So, you're based in Germany, I'm in the UK. Where do you think our countries are standing on this matter today?
Sorry, but I can't compare the situation of these two countries. But I get the impression that people in the UK are somewhat more aware of the dangers posed by tech giants. In 2021, Sir Richard Moore, your head of the British Secret Service, MI6, described the dangers of digital dependencies in a BBC interview. He explained the data trap as follows. If you give another country access to really critical data about your society, over time, that will undermine your sovereignty because you no longer have control over that data. And you have a professor at London School of Economics, Nick Coltree, and a colleague of him have published the book, The Cost of Connection, How Data is Colonizing Human Life and Appropriating it for Capitalism. And there's also a BBC video I saw, What is Data Colonialism?
I suppose that leads us into the main topic we're talking about. I read one of your articles recently, Germany as a digital colony, and you had some strong phrases in there. You were saying, without digital sovereignty, there's no future for our society, or things like, compared to the dependence on Russian energy supplies, the digital dependence on hyperscalers is more critical. The degree of dependence is significantly higher, and the digital dependence is virtually irreversible. Those are very stark warnings. Isn't this a little bit alarmist? We're not that at risk, are we?
Well, the term digital colony describes a situation with frightening accuracy. Administration, the economy, education depend on digital monopolies such as Microsoft, Oracle, Google, Apple, and Co., which dominates data flows and rules in particular. We are already experiencing a growing loss of control of our own data. And external control undermines sovereignty. Big tech dictates the rules of the game, maximizes its profits at the expense of the German and European economy and society. We pay tribute. We are in a colony in the form of license fees and surrender our data sovereignty to US tech monopolies. Without radical measures to reduce dependency on digital monopolies, the digital future of Germany and Europe is lost.
Help us to understand that a little bit more. What do you think are the really big consequences of this digital dependency?
Well, there are a lot of consequences. First one, you feel it today, the powerlessness and vulnerability to blackmail. Trump and his big tech billionaires are a powerful alliance that knows no limits. No state, no company, and no individual is safe. We have a lot of examples. The weekend, Canada Trump has managed to get Canada to withdraw the digital tax that was introduced a year ago. In the past, there have been several attempts by big tech companies to influence foreign laws that restrict their business. And maybe you've heard of the Dutch bank, Amsterdam Trade Bank. Microsoft followed US orders and withdrew services from this bank. The bank went bust, but when Microsoft would also not cooperate with the bankruptcy proceedings, they tried to hide from Dutch courts also. And Microsoft has blocked the chief prosecutor of the International Court of Justice, Den Haag, from accessing his email account. The clear message: anyone who uses big tech's clouds risks the existence of their state company organization. On the one hand, big tech is playing something like a deputy sheriff for Trump, and Trump is showing his gratitude by removing business obstacles. In Canada, Trump even kills a Canadian law that hindering big tech's business. The second argument, the unlimited outflow, the cash outflow to big tech. With some figures, the EU's European deficit on services, it means licenses, IT services, compared to the US, already amounted to 109 billion euro in 2023. This deficit has quadrupled in the last 4 years. It's 242 per US citizen. And for a family of 4, this corresponds to around 1,000 euro per year. If this trend continues, it will be 4,000 euros for a family of four in 4 years. It means Europe dead, big tech rich. And the third one, for me, it's the most critical development. Big tech is using its monopoly power to expand into other economic sectors. It's attempting to become dominant there as well. Example, the banks. The payment transactions are already in the hands of big techs: Apple Pay, Microsoft Pay, Meta Pay, Google Pay, Amazon Pay. And now they're also offering loans and financial advice. That's a classical work of the normal banks. And we are already seeing a massive wave of bank closures here in Germany. Some banks are so foolish that they use big tech products and services and thereby strengthening their direct competitors. Also, Europe dead, big tech rich.
The way you present it there is quite dramatic, and it seems very obvious in some ways. So how have we gotten to this point then, where we have such a large dependency on something that appears to be this problematic?
That's the question. How could this happen, this situation? I think the marketing departments of big tech are extremely inventive with narratives. I would describe them as lies, and false promises are used to lure customers, companies, states, individuals into dependency traps and rip them off. The market dominating providers have, for example, recognized that it's opportune to adorn their products with the attribute digital sovereign due to the administration and companies' increased interest in digital sovereignty. This brazen sovereignty washing. The absolute opposite is the case, because the use of monopoly services weakens digital sovereignty, not strengthens it.
So you're talking about examples like Microsoft running Microsoft Azure data centers that are physically located in Germany. They're under German jurisdiction. Is that not sufficient sovereignty? Why is that not good enough?
I think that's bullshit. Big tech companies are subject to US law. This also applies to all data centers outside the US. The Cloud Act oversees data, that's the content of this law, legitimize access by US authorities to all data centers in Europe and the world outside the US. And those affected do not have to be informed. This opens the door to manipulation, industrial espionage, as more and more examples show. Access to one's own data can be shut down at any time. So it's a very dangerous to store data in these computer centers, data centers.
Well, you're painting a very dark picture there, and it sounds quite gloomy and worrying. Do you have any good news? Are there any good examples? Is there any positive news in this area?
Yeah, I think they are very good news, and we are reaching a tipping point. More and more people become aware of the situation. Denmark has learned its lesson because of Greenland. Both the Danish Ministry of Digitalization and the two largest Danish cities, Copenhagen and Aarhus, have shown the red card to Microsoft to leave the Microsoft products. And almost every day, there's a report in the press that an organization, a company, a city is switching to alternatives. Today, the French city of Lyon is getting rid of Windows and Office. And even the European Commission is now reviewing offers from European cloud providers to replace Microsoft Azure. In Germany, maybe you've heard of it, the federal state of Schleswig-Holstein is currently converting 30,000 workplaces to open source alternatives. And already by the end of October, 70% of these workplaces, means more than 20,000, should have been converted.
Well, that does sound like some really good news. It's interesting the example you gave of Schleswig-Holstein. I think our company is involved in that one as well. And
Great.
It's exciting to see that there is some positive movement in this industry.
There's a real positive movement. I think it's beginning with a positive wave, and it's important that everyone participates. The state, companies, and every individual. This is the only way we can prevent digital colonization. We have to do it.
Thank you. Well, that's a really helpful discussion. Perhaps I could ask you just one last question. Supposing you were in an elevator with a government official and you had 30 seconds to encourage them to move away from a closed system to take back control of their data. How might you encourage them in just 30 seconds or a minute?
Yeah, I think the examples are encouraging. So I would show them these examples, and also, as I showed to you, the consequences of digital dependency. Yeah, I don't have the right words in the moment for this, but I will prepare for this moment. Thank you for this question.
Sorry for putting you on the spot there.
No, it's fine. I thank you. Have to make a pitch for this question. I was already invited by ministries of digitalization in Germany. I will meet other people in the nearest future, so I need this pitch. Thank you.
Good. Well, I'm pleased we've had a mutually beneficial discussion. Dr. Harald Wehnes, it's been a really interesting talking to you. I've learnt a lot. I'm sure our listeners will have also. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.